after Batman.
Wait, which one? The Saint? Oh,
The
yeah, that
Saint.
was after. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was hot off the heels of that.
Yeah. Are we doing movies or are we including TV shows?
No TV shows, because I know what you're going to get, and I don't want you to get it.
Yeah. Okay. That
Because
sounds
you were
good.
going to do The Boys, right?
Oh, yeah, it definitely was. Of course. Of course. I think I'm going to go with was she in Last House on the Left? Or was it, a different one?
She was in Silent House, right?
House
at the End of the Street.
Street. That's the one I'm going to pick.
All right, I'm going to do Piranha 3D.
Of course. I haven't seen that one or I would have picked it. I feel like
so
I didn't want to cheat.
I love that. Listen to the episode, by the way. It's really good.
All right. So we're getting into, I have one more left.
Yep.
The Saint was a really good pick. You know what? I'm going to pick this movie. I'm going to pick Hollow Man.
Whoa.
just throw it all out. Throw caution to the wind.
All right, let's see. So you have Karate Kid, Back to the Future 3, Cocktail, House at the End, and what was your last one?
Hollow Man.
Hollow Man. Oh, yeah. People are going to see that and be like, I love Hollow Man. All right. So,
it's a little bit like cheating.
I mean, she's action hero in this movie. It's awesome. All right. So I got Piranha 3D. And then I also picked, what was my other one that I had? Leaving Las Vegas, Adventures in Babysitting, Piranha 3D, and what else?
You haven't picked a fourth one yet.
Okay. No, all right. So I got to pick, oh man, this is big because you have the best one. So I have to come through here and pick something strong. Let's see.
Everlasting.
Oh, brother. Let's see.
You just picked Back to the Future 2. I think that one is a classic movie. You can't go wrong with it.
Yeah. All right. You swayed me. Back to the Future 2. All right. And then you have your 5. I have my 5.
Yep.
All right. Let's see. Oh, and the Saint. So you have Karate Kid, Back to the Future, Cocktail, House at the End of the Street, Hollow Man, I have Leaving Las Vegas, Adventures in Babysitting, Piranha 3D, Back to the Future 2, and the Saint.
Yeah. I have Back to the Future 3.
That's what it is. Yeah.
I don't think she was in the first one.
Head to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and this will probably have run already, but just check out all the other things that we have going on. Like it on Facebook. We run a lot of fun tournaments. We got a massive one that just happened in February. We have a huge one going up in March. So, yeah, just check out Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook. Back to Hollow Man.
That's a nice ad.
Yeah. Gotta do it, man.
I know. So, some other things I liked about this, well, we're on Elisabeth Shue. I really thought it was interesting that her character was so sexual and sexually dominant, and I liked how none of the other characters were really putting her down for it. I think in a typical slasher, she would have been killed. It's like she violated the slasher rules.
Oh, yeah. I never even thought about that.
Yeah, she physically dominates Matthew the entire film sexually,
and I like that. That doesn't lead into her personal life either. Like her professional life. Like she just goes to work and she works like a boss.
Yeah. Though I did question their decision to be like, you know what, Sebastian, you're the smartest person here. I guess we'll put our career on the line. Like, what a bad decision.
Oh yeah, when they're like, yeah, test yourself.
Yeah, it's so dumb.
But I think she kind of has that gambling streak in her too, right? Like she enjoys that, like kind of being a rule. I mean, they're creating invisible soldiers for the military who are going to murder people. So she probably does have a little bit of a rebellious streak. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. They all have to, like everyone in that entire lab.
And I love how when they're walking out of the military turkey sandwich conversation, Kevin Bacon's all in purple and Josh Brolin is just in gray, drab gray. And I think that explains their characters pretty well.
Driving that Porsche around?
It's really weird seeing Josh Brolin not be the physical alpha. Because for the last few years, he's just been jacked.
I mean, he's big in this movie too. He sort of folds into himself.
It's interesting though. Like now that we've seen him, obviously Thanos, but Cable and Deadpool 2 and Old Boy and movies like that. Just a big brick shithouse of a guy. Oh, Sicario.
Mm-hmm.
Shows he has range.
Yeah, and we saw him in Goonies.
Oh yeah. So I don't think he liked Verhoeven very much.
Why do you say that?
Okay, so I'm going to read this quote from him. So I'm quoting him, all right? So he said that Paul Verhoeven is like a autistic, a kid with autism who keeps hitting his head into a wall.
Okay.
That's what he said on the behind the scenes interview.
That's crazy.
But on set though, everyone else that they talked about, they're like, he rushes into everything. However, if you work on a Verhoeven film, you have to be able to collaborate with him, and he wants input. So he's not the director that's going to tell you what to do. He hires people, and he expects input from them. So that's a pretty interesting thing. He rushes into everything, but if they have a great idea, and he expects you to have good ideas, I think that'd be interesting to work with as a production designer or as a visual effects artist, where you're just flying from the seat of your pants, but he wants your input. I feel like that would be challenging, but also rewarding for your career.
Yeah. I mean, I might appreciate that more. Because I'm the type of person, if I don't have some type of hands-on or some type of, how do I put this, stake in the project, I could easily just do my part and not think about it at all and push it away. And I found that if I collaborate with people, I produce a much better product.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And then, okay, another random question for you. I really like the cinematographer, Alan Cameron. He had worked on Willow, which is great. Highlander. We did
that podcast.
There and then he also did Far and Away, Escape, The Mummy, Van Helsing, Sahara, Da Vinci Code, and Shanghai Nights.
Those are all fun.
Big guy, like big production designer. No, so we can avoid. So in Rona Mitra's apartment, it's all very salmon color. Would you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What? All right. So I'm trying to figure out what that. It's an interesting color because the rest of the film, if you like the lab that they're in, I'm not going to call their lab brutalist, but it's very sterile. So then industrial. So the one scene that they go to, it's like, it's just salmon. I thought that was pretty interesting to that color. I don't know if you noticed that.
Were they trying to make a comment about having that woman look sensual?
With the salmon?
And like the soft lighting?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, they really lit her. I mean,
yeah,
they glory lit Rona Mitra. So maybe the salmon does well with the light?
Yeah, something like that.
Right? I don't know. I just thought that was so coral. I guess sometimes they say that can mean light and life. That's kind of interesting.
That is interesting. I hadn't thought about the other color dynamics much.
But that's the only time I noticed because this movie isn't about the production design. Very, very little of that. I just think that's the one scene of really out there color in the film. And it was also for that scene. So I wonder if he's a smart guy. So I'm trying to, I don't know, maybe during the break we can look up to it.
Well, that's kind of my point from earlier where we're at. Like, I don't know how to handle this film because there are smart elements to it that feels like there are deliberate choices. And then there's a bunch of dumb shit. It's like he had Verhoeven clearly did some things. Maybe he didn't do them to what he wanted them to do, but he was definitely thinking about some things, putting it together.
Now, they say that salmon works well with skin tones. So, I mean, this scene had a lot of skin tones in it.
Yes.
Right? So, they're warm colors. They make us feel warmer. Oh, there we go. Subtly encourage us to express our emotions, and it's to encourage us to be outgoing, more social, and increase physical energy. But I guess that if that psychology influences, it makes us feel warm. It makes us feel more sort of safe, I guess. Feel warmer and kind of open. And then that scene happens. Maybe that is something that they're working with the psychology.
Yeah. I mean, if the idea of this film is to lead you lead you by the hand towards being evil, to test when you would pull away from Kevin Bacon's character, they are lighting her in a way that is tempting.
Interesting.
To the male audience, or in some female audience.
Yeah. Also, I'm going to go back to something. What eats the rat in the beginning of the film?
The gorilla.
The gorilla?
Isabella.
Well, that was a tiny cage. There were other invisible monsters, right? Or not monsters, dogs. Isabella eats rats?
Yeah, remember it picks it up and squeezes it? And then I thought Isabella ate the rat. Like, there's an undercurrent of this film where you don't know if he is just a bad guy, and he would do these things if he was invisible, or if being invisible, like, screwed with his mind and also made him a bad guy. Because at the beginning, like, I don't think Isabella would just, like, grab it and crush it and eat that mouse. So I go back and forth. Like, ultimately, I think he's just a bad dude. But that beginning sort of throws things off for me.
Verhoeven said that he wouldn't have done that if he said the invisibility made him do that. The director said it.
The invisibility made him do it.
Yeah, he said the invisibility drove him mad. But he was only down there for 10 days.
Huh. I think that was just him on a power trip. I don't think he was driven mad. He didn't have to look at himself. He could do all the things he wanted to do without consequences.
So I've never been invisible, but 10 days I don't think would be enough to make me crazy. I would be working like crazy to figure out the issue. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And did no one, after about the 10th day, did no one think to get him a sleeping mask?
That's really smart. Oh my God. The thing that I kept thinking when watching it was like, why would you put a bunch of latex over this dude when you can just get a ski mask?
Oh, or a hat.
Yeah. Like you can't sweat through like latex. You know how uncomfortable that would be? Just get a mat or get a ski mask. Like you're fine.
Get a balaclava.
Yeah.
Get him a toque.
Yeah. And then like what happened to his hair when they put the mask on? He just was bald all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's interesting. They had to smush down his hair, I guess. They do that in the pictures.
Yeah, they slicked it back and then put it on.
Just put sunglasses on him.
Yeah. So we're like sort of gearing into like weird things this movie does. I think the weirdest thing this film does is that they don't have a doctor present when he goes under. They have a veterinarian.
Oh, yeah. Well, the reason being, right, is because he's not supposed to be doing it. So they can't bring anybody in. Right?
Yeah. Oh, here comes the police. They're gonna arrest me for making fun of this movie.
Yeah, they're listening. They've come back in time. This is Looper. Yeah, I don't know. I guess 10 days didn't seem. I just wish there would have been. Okay, so listen. This is a great way to. This film could have been a really interesting way to put a camera on a Steadicam. Make you the camera, right? Mm-hmm. When you're walking around, when he's invisible, you are the camera. It could have been a really interesting take on voyeurism. It could have been interesting to watch him fail at first to be creepy. Does that make sense?
Yeah. He looking to do things a little bit more every time. So again, I feel like we're coming back to the same theme, is that this film just moves too fast. Yeah. Because if we look at the very beginning, in less than 12 hours, he becomes invisible, lightly screws with people by like moving pop cans, and then immediately gropes a woman. like that's probably not even 12 hours, probably 7 hours, 8 hours, just 0 to 100 out the gate. And this film doesn't take the time to breathe and show the character sliding down through this process. So for me, I'm left with this idea that he was always a shitbag, and being invisible just brought it out. And like, what's more interesting, if he was actually sort of a decent person, and then becoming invisible slowly turned him into a monster.
Yeah, I would have loved that. And I mean, what else did I have? I mean, there are some touches that I liked about Kevin Bacon in the beginning that I wish they could have expanded upon more. There's just no time. Remember when Joey Slotnick runs out of coffee, and Kevin Bacon goes and gets him the other thing of coffee? Like, it's little things like that I really liked about the character, if that makes sense. Yeah.
There is something sort of charming about the character at the beginning that quickly turns sour. And that is, again, Kevin's sweet spot.
The guard loves him. I don't know. That scene, though, when they bring back the gorilla and they decide to go celebrate, they go to a really fancy restaurant to celebrate. That didn't seem like much fun to me. We need to go celebrate. And then Joey Slotnick's is telling terrible stories.
Well, why don't we turn this conversation a little bit to Kevin Bacon?
Yeah. The Bacon.
Like he's done so much, right? We can't talk about this movie without talking about Kevin Bacon. What are some of your favorite Kevin Bacon movies?
Oh, well, so his best roles are in The Following and Jay and Mansfield's Car, because I worked on both of those.
Oh, I forgot that you worked on those.
I've been on screen with Kevin Bacon.
Really?
Yeah, on The Following pilot. I worked on the pilot in Atlanta, and they needed some security guards, so I was working on the set, and I dressed up as security guard, and I had to wrestle with James Purefoy all day while Kevin Bacon sat there watching me drag him out of a interrogation room. So I'm 0 degrees from the bake.
That's amazing.